Welcome to the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. I'm the big beefy boy, Shaz Beef, and today I'm joined by my fellow old buck in Morro.
We're getting really good at that.
We got reverb off the guitars and everything.
That was awesome. I thought
that was cool. How are you, bro?
Good. How are you?
I'm fucking not. I'm struggling, man.
What's up?
I don't know. I have like a nerve like trapped in my neck, and it runs all the way down to my fingers.
You're a wrestler now.
Can you give me a massage, please?
That's called a stinger, I believe, isn't it?
A stinger?
I think that's what a stinger is. A nerve, trapped nerve.
I thought Stinger was retired.
It's Stinger!
It's Stinger! Ow, no! Please fuck off, Stinger! Other than that, yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah, you look a bit caught up, as
I am
they
a bit
say.
caught up.
You look caught up.
It's like everything is in the tips of like my fingers and my thumb. Here, it's either that or I'm having a stroke.
Do I need to...
That'll get views.
Man has stroke.
If I do have a stroke during this podcast, you have my permission to put it up on YouTube.
Perfect. I was just going to say, of all the genres of podcasts, the most likely where a man would have a stroke...
Yeah, and not a Jeff Jarrett-like stroke.
Is wrestling.
Yeah.
A wrestling podcast. You think of all the wrestling podcasters
People get
out there.
stressed out when they talk about wrestling.
Too stressed.
Yeah.
Too stressed.
So do we, though. We went hard in on the Netflix Raw debut.
Yeah,
and
but it was crap.
It was crap.
Did you watch the second one?
I haven't got to watch it because, I've been training.
Yeah.
But my missus, anytime I want to put on, my missus is like, no, can we watch them together? And I'm like, I want to see Penta.
Oh, yeah, I watched Penta. That's all I watched.
That was badass.
Yeah, Penta was cool. Sure's Penta, like, you know what I mean? He's perfect for WWE because his style...
So toyetic.
As he's gotten older, you know, he's had to slow... Like, you think of Penta, first couple of years in AEW and, like, Lucha Underground and stuff. Like, that man was a menace.
Yeah.
But, like, he's getting older now and he can kind of rely more on his charisma. And
He can still move, though.
he can absolutely still move. But, like, I really enjoyed the match with Gable because, yeah, he did a lot of classic Penta stuff. But he slowed it down a bit. Got the charisma over. Had a nice little promo afterwards.
Yeah.
Then there was
I
controversy.
didn't even know he could speak English.
I think he's only been learning it the last few years.
Fair play.
Fair play. And WWE
And
are...
what a cool name, just Penta.
Yeah, well, like, all the variations of his name are cool. But, like,
what
fuck
was
it, simplify
Penta
it.
Zero,
Penta L0M?
Yeah, like, why was it that?
L0 Miedo?
Because I know it was Pentagon Jr., and then they couldn't use that name.
Yeah.
So they went with Pento L0M. And
Yeah.
you're like, why didn't you just go with Penta?
He had used that name, Penta L0M, in Mexico.
Penta's perfect.
Penta's great, yeah.
Penta's perfect.
Pentagon Jr. to me is the best, but is the best name, but Penta's perfect. Like,
I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen on Raw over the next while. They have some stuff cooking. Of course, they're getting into the Royal Rumble season and WrestleMania season.
This is generally the best time of year for week-to-week
It's the
television.
most wonderful time of the year. One of the big regrets, though, that I have when it comes to WrestleMania is we never got to have a Shield triple threat.
Never happened.
No, never happened. A Shield triple threat. And it just seemed like the most logical thing.
They missed the boat on it.
They did. Maybe not forever. You never know. But what...
It's possible.
Like, I've been thinking about the Shield a bit because I've been liking what Rollins is doing. I like
Obviously, not me.
I've seen his interaction with Sammy. I liked his recent interaction with Sammy. I liked what he was doing with Punk. I liked the stuff that he did with Cody and Drew. And like, he was an integral part, I think, of WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, massive. That was, to be honest, WrestleMania 40 was the most interesting I've found him in a long, long time.
I think since he made that character change around WrestleMania 38, after the Monday Night Messiah and became what he is now, I've enjoyed his role. I've enjoyed the theatrics of it, you know, kind of
not me.
All that stuff. It's like he found his final form, as you said. Now we got a lot of criticism because I get lumped in with you,
and I get lumped in with you.
You were calling him a dullard. No one says you're an AEW fucking hater. But you're meant to get lumped in with me, and I'm meant to be an AEW. In fact, true. You and someone who I don't want to out him, but like, you be bitching about AEW in the group chats, man.
I do bitch about AEW.
I like a lot. Like, I was like, have I poisoned the well, or have they finally been awoken?
No, it's not finally been awoken. It's
you thought it was a WWE fucking stan, and now you're.
No, you jumped the gun. You were too early. It was
I didn't
still
jump
good.
the gun.
It was still good. When
I didn't jump the gun. It's just
there's good things happening now. It's just the main event scene is shit.
It's bad.
Shit.
Man. And who's at top of that?
Jonathan
Moxley.
Good.
Yeah. Jon
AKA
Moxley.
Jon Moxley.
But so you're looking at AEW. The top of that is Jon Moxley. You looked at Seth Rollins. He was all over the WrestleMania 40 card. Don't know what's going to happen with WrestleMania 41.
I'm sure he'll have a prominent spot.
And then, of course, his fellow Shield brethren in Roman Reigns.
Is
all over every card.
Samoa Joe.
Even when he's...
Samoan Joe.
Even when he's, like, not there, his fingerprints are all over the cards.
He what's the... Not lingers. He's
in the background.
Yeah, he towers above the promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I never thought was going to be possible.
His presence lurks.
There's an interesting question coming off of that. Hopefully I'll remember it at the end. But I don't want to get into it
Okay.
now. Because I want to get into Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield. And their lasting legacy, maybe just so far.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more to come.
Over a decade, all came in together like a house on fire and all went their separate ways to a degree. You know, they found themselves and they're whatever they were hoping to be presented as, that's probably what they're being presented as now. So I think it's interesting to look at, you know, how three of them have compared to each other. Because they're always going to be compared, even though they're so vastly different from each other.
Like, it's crazy that they work so well as a faction trio, considering how different they all are. Like, if you go back, Roman Reigns is a product of the WWE developmental system. Yeah.
Leaky,
yeah. Weird. You know, Mox is CZW and other notable indies, a lot of them being fucking deathmatch indies.
He wasn't a deathmatch wrestler.
He wasn't a deathmatch wrestler, but he was in some of the deathmatch indies. Yeah. He did do some deathmatches, but you couldn't class. I don't like it's. It'd be reductive to class him as a deathmatch wrestler. Yeah. And then Rollins, you know, obviously Ring of Honor, Tyler Black, had a standout run there. They all ended up in the early versions of NXT, coming from three completely different.
Yeah, it was FCW.
FCW, yes. That was before NXT, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Florida Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, it became NXT.
NXT.
Actually, Seth Rollins became the first NXT
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
by defeating Jinder Mahal in the final.
It was Jinder Mahal in the final.
Yeah.
Did he lose it then to Bo Dallas?
Maybe Big E? Or did Big E beat Bo? Yeah, he lost it to Big E. I think Bo Dallas beat Big E. And then Pac.
Yes.
Bo.
What was Big E's name at the time? Was it still Big E Langston?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And he did the 5 count.
Yeah.
But the accessibility now that you have to NXT, back then, it was nowhere near.
Well, like, when did you get on board with NXT? I got on board with NXT long after The Shield had debuted on the main roster.
I remember... I always knew about OVW, Seth.
Yeah.
I didn't really know about...
Cornette and then... But you're like, you know, OVW was well known, mainly probably because of that O2 class, you know, the vaunted Brock,
Batista, all that.
Cena, Orton.
I didn't know much about was it HWA, Heartland Wrestling Association, but I started following online and not even watching, just following what was happening in FCW when Sheamus went over there.
All right, so like Jesus, like us 7-ish.
Yeah, so I started looking at Sheamus. I would have seen, I think Del Rio was there before he went up onto the main roster.
La Negro Casas.
Yeah, I remember just looking at all these people that were in FCW because I knew then that they were going to be the guys that were going to get the call up. So even when they did that original NXT class, I was like, oh, I know that guy and I know that guy. I mightn't have seen much about him.
But you'd seen their names and but like a lot of that time, like, you know, wrestlers
reading them in magazines.
Yeah, like now... When a guy debuts, people like us who watch a lot of wrestling will have seen them wrestle possibly several times. Whereas back then, you just read about them. You didn't actually know anything about them. You thought you did. You're just like, I've heard this. Like, I don't know, a good example of this. I'm trying to think of one. But like, you were reading them in magazines. You might not necessarily have seen them wrestle.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, if I actually... Here's one that...
Morishima. I didn't see a lot of Morishima, but I remember being excited when I heard he was getting dark matches.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, Morishima, because I didn't get to see a lot of Ring of Honor.
It was hard to see Ring of Honor
the
here
stuff
then.
on the wrestling channel from Ring of Honor would have been...
older.
The Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Chris Daniels stuff. So when Morishima started coming... you didn't get to see a lot of it. Same with Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, I'd seen very little of
a
his
lot of my Nigel McGuinness stuff would have been Desmond Wolfe and TNA.
Yeah. It was like I only seen the Nigel McGuinness Danielson matches a few years ago when I got Honor Club subscription.
Yeah.
When when Ring of Honor had the partnership with New Japan, like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, Cody and all, and Adam. Yeah,
exactly. Adam Cole and
Bullet Club, baby.
Bullet Club crossover. I got an Honor Club subscription, and then it was only then I seen the Danielson McGuinness stuff.
Yeah,
like. 8, 9, 10 years after it happened, and I'd never seen any like Tyler Black stuff. I'd never even gone back and watched a lot of Tyler Black stuff. I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 matches of Rollins' previous character Tyler Black in Ring of Honor. He was kind of, it was weird. We see his crossover with Punk now, but like he was almost in some ways
Punk's successor.
Yeah, and it was Punk who brought the Shield in.
Yeah.
But in kayfabe.
But what I want to get to is
Chris Hero.
Well, even before that, because I do want to get to that. I might have a fun little game that we can do as well with that.
I like that.
When Sheamus started coming in, I was around 09-10 that I wasn't really massively paying attention into what was happening in FCW.
Yeah.
I was kind of waning with WWE, to be fair. That was when I moved to Australia and stuff.
Yeah, it was a tough time to be a wrestling fan. Let's be honest.
I wasn't keeping up with stuff as much. So
this is pre-summer of Punk, like things weren't good.
I remember being excited by Mox.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley. I remember hearing about him. Big fan of CZW.
I had no idea of who he was then.
I loved I didn't know who I was, but because he was associated with CZW,
you were on board.
I was on board because I loved watching CZW on the wrestling channel.
Yeah.
I think it was channel 427.
John Danzig and the boys.
Danzig, just the Backseat Boys, Trent Acid. I remember watching the best of the best with Jody Flesh and Johnny Storm. I had that on tape still
Jody
at home.
Flesh, unbelievable.
He did the 720 DDT, and then you're seeing Sick Nick Mundo and all these cool things. So when WWE hired this guy from CZW, I was thinking deathmatch. I was like, what? What is happening?
How is he going to fit in here?
How? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing they're going to call him up with Mick Foley.
That was the original plan.
And I was so excited.
Yeah.
And, was this after Mick Foley's run with TNA?
Yeah, I think it was. He was going to come back to WWE for one more run with
And I was excited by that because I thought Foley, for everything
they had a big thing plotted out between the two of them. It was their idea essentially, wasn't it?
So I've read Mox's book and Foley couldn't get cleared and he was kind of pushing the envelope and Foley didn't like it too much. But the actual premise of it was that you ruined a generation of wrestlers and I'm going to hold you accountable for it because
such a great
people kill themselves trying to emulate what you've done. Now they're always going to have to top Mick Foley, and they're never going to be able because there's only one Mick Foley.
Yeah,
and
great idea.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So, and the way they shot stuff with, Ambrose approaching Foley,
mobile phone, early use of mobile phone footage.
I remember reading it online, on the dirt pages online or whatever. I don't think it was eWrestling News that I used to read back then, but there was one of those.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no way. Boards.ie maybe it could have been. And I was like, no way. Fucking, this is real.
They're fucking going for this.
This seemed real. And then I started.
Now, bear in mind, Shane is 27 years of age. No, I'm joking.
He was
in his 20s.
Yeah, I was. I was 24 or so. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this might be actual real. And whoever says, John Martin always says with the neo kayfabe kind of thing, is it real or not? And that's what was interesting to me.
Yeah.
But then it got nixed.
Yeah, Foley couldn't get cleared medically, and Jon Moxley was kind of sent back until they could come up with more creative for him on how to debut him on the main roster. Yeah.
And then I kind of forgot about him.
There was a good year between that stuff and when he debuted as a member of the Shield.
I don't even know if it was a year. So
maybe not, but there was a period of time.
So let's get up to the debut of the Shield. I'm on the Ryback train.
Everyone was on the Ryback train for a little while.
Feed me more, right?
Yeah.
I thought they shunted him into the spot too quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
Because CM Punk was having this great generational run with Paul Heyman and stuff, and I'm like, if they beat Ryback, they're killing his momentum.
Too soon.
I felt, yeah.
You can beat someone, obviously, when the time is right. But for Ryback, that was too soon.
Yeah, and people were on board of the whole feed me more stuff.
Yeah,
and
it was over.
It was. And even if they were emulating Goldberg or ripping off Goldberg, whatever, it didn't matter.
Was Goldberg the first person to do that gimmick? You know what I mean? No.
Well, maybe the streak. I don't know.
With the streak itself, but like that style of character.
Yeah, well, wasn't it Vince who kind of made squashes a thing?
No, there was always an old squash match here or there on the territories.
Like Vince, wasn't it King Kong Bundy and S.E. Jones at WrestleMania 1? King Kong Bundy wins in 18 seconds.
For a pay-per-view, that wouldn't have been
a done thing.
No,
yeah, anyway, I was on a plane and I had a Survivor Series. It was Survivor Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had it on my old laptop, downloaded legally, and was watching it. Watching it on the laptop, and then these three guys just bowled out.
Yeah, through the crowd.
And start beating the shit out of Ryback.
Yeah.
Put him through a table.
In funky costumes.
I thought it was class. Turtlenecks.
It was so class. Yeah,
before Christian did it.
It was like the whole angle and the presentation of that. Yeah, look, obviously they changed the costumes the next night or whatever, but it was still what a debut. Like,
yeah,
it was so fresh and exciting.
Yeah, and like at the time as well, we've had these small glimmers of hope. I always used to call them. It was, say, the Nexus.
Well, I was going to ask that question.
The Summer of Punk.
Yeah.
The Wyatts was even that year.
Yeah.
And I think from the Wyatts, from the start with that Inferno match with Kane, they were kind of fucking cartoonized and fucked over.
Too soon as well, yeah.
And
a question there, because you mentioned the Nexus, and I was going to ask this question. Is the Shield just the Nexus done right?
I don't know. I don't even know. I think...
Because there's obvious parallels.
Yeah, there's parallels, but what I think the Shield did right is there was no distinct leader. Whereas Wade Barrett, because he won NXT, he was the leader.
Yeah.
They didn't look cohesive. They might have wore the same t-shirt, but they didn't look...
No, they didn't look like a unit. And there was loads of them.
Yeah, there was too many of them.
And what I think was done very well early with the Shield was the use of trios matches.
Yeah.
Because like WWE was never really a trios match promotion.
Yeah, and like looking at their debut against Ryback, Kane, and Daniel Bryan, like that TLC match,
so fucking good
for what WWE was. It was like, oh my god,
this was like out of their wheelhouse,
and it showcased them all so perfectly.
Yeah.
Like every single one of their styles, so perfectly.
Like some of them early trios matches were just, and that one, like, but other one, like the stuff with the Wyatts and all, like,
yeah, but they only ran that like once.
I know,
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah,
which is what we all wanted to see. Like, you look at the Bray Wyatt documentary. There's only one Bray Wyatt on this channel, and like you can see that moment where those two factions meet. That was the for me, probably maybe outside of the Daniel Bryan stuff, the best of the Wyatts. The way they looked that night and the atmosphere in that arena for those two factions, like two super fresh factions, two like both incredibly unique in their own way, and both presented still well at that stage. Yeah, like both of them felt like mega over, and the match itself was incredibly over. Yeah, at a time, match at a time in WWE where not a lot of stuff was clicking. No, like the only other time that the White who won. Who, like we were running back Rock and Cena at that time. Yeah. No, that was after that, wasn't it? WrestleMania 28 and 29. Oh, yeah. So we were running back Rock and Cena. No, we weren't. We were coming up to WrestleMania 30. 29, I'd say. 29, yeah. Sorry. So we're coming up to WrestleMania 29. I think. But yeah. We're doing that thing where we mix all the WrestleManias together again. It's way too similar. Anyway. Look, that era is but just... like, when they were coming in as... it was WrestleMania 29 because CM Punk got shafted and he went up against The Undertaker then with Heyman. Yeah. So, taking him away from CM Punk, I remember at the time feeling like, this is perfect. I know there was a loose association, but then you had Punk going up against him in like a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
They did that WWE thing where like, and for Punk as well, they made Punk look strong in this. And you're like, what the they're going to mess this up.
Yeah.
But by all accounts, reading Jon Moxley's book, like the way they, like everything that they did it together.
Yeah.
You know, strength in numbers. And that's how they eventually got over.
Yeah.
I think after a while, the whole premise of it started to wane.
Yeah, of course. But they didn't overstay their welcome as well.
I thought there was times when Jon Moxley was like US champion and he wasn't defending it.
And the boys were defending the tag titles.
And you're like, what's the point of this? Like,
maybe, yeah.
You know?
Because there was a time where he was US champion and Reigns and Rollins were tag champions at the same time.
but none of those titles mattered.
No,
so
yeah, it wasn't their fault.
even the tag titles were bronze.
Yeah, that was so shit.
Yeah.
Jeez, I forgot about that.
They just kind of seem to be treading water. Then we get to the Royal Rumble, and if they were ever to have Roman Reigns win a Royal Rumble,
That was probably the time.
that was the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, Batista.
Yeah.
Anyone but Batista, but it came down to Batista and Roman, and the fans loved Roman.
At that stage, yeah. Yeah, the rejection comes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I remember shouting for him because if I knew it wasn't going to be Daniel Bryan was in that feud with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Like I remember. I actually talk about my age. I remember I was staying in my mate's house. I think I even had work the next morning, but I was staying up late to watch it. And I went to the store and bought a Daniel Bryan figure.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, it's going to be Daniel Bryan.
25 years of age.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the...
There's a photo of me online somewhere.
But then, do you think... I know because people didn't want Batista to win. That was the year where, you know, the Daniel Bryan thing became overwhelming. Would they have shit on Roman anyway? Even if it was Roman over Batista?
No, I don't think so. Because it's when the machine gets behind someone, as we see with Roman.
It was clear that it was Batista. The machine was behind Batista.
Yeah,
that year.
and that's not what we wanted.
It became Roman later.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I get you, yeah. And it was the fact that it was clear that Batista was chosen over Daniel Bryan.
It's just not something that we wanted.
And it was Roman the following year.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's why I want to. But we're skipping over a massive part. Like, the lads go up against the New Age Outlaws had a WrestleMania and Kane, New Age Outlaws and Kane, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like, what the? Okay, you have this amazing faction, and they're going up against the New Age Outlaws and Kane.
Isn't that just such a typical?
That could have been the year before. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It happened. But that's such a typical Vince thing of like we have this great faction who are unbelievable workers who are putting on like sick 6-man matches.
It's the Wyatts versus Shield. Like that was your WrestleMania match. You didn't have to do that Elimination Chamber the year before. You know, I know Bray Wyatt went up against Cena at WrestleMania 30.
That wasn't the time for him and Cena either.
You put Cena over him.
Yeah, because son of a bitch. Because you just done like the whole. That was the year of like the Bray Wyatt Danielson stuff early in the year. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like around the Royal Rumble and that cage match on Raw. And
he was in the Wyatt family for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was such great stuff though. Like, that wasn't the time for Wyatt to then turn around and lose to Cena at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like,
that's all in our in the documentary on the Wrestling Fan
But that was the time for a proper long build to, and something sort of stakes at it of Wyatt's versus Shield at that WrestleMania.
But what we got after WrestleMania 30 was Wyatt's versus Evolution. And I loved that. I thought that was class.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool.
That's a way to get like...
Yeah, in fairness, like, because Batista did great work then as a heel and stuff.
Batista, you mean?
Yeah. But he did great stuff as a heel then, you know what I mean? Like
you know, he took the fall in that match at WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
To be fair to him.
In fairness, Batista, if you're listening, you're a great lad. He's a great lad.
Batista.
He turned, like, he knew after the Royal Rumble, he was like, nah, I need to turn heel and put over Danielson. Or Daniel Bryan. Why does that man have such similar names?
Son of a bitch. But, that was brilliant. And then we get the Rollins heel turn. I always thought, it was going to be Ambrose.
So did I. Yeah. But they kind of
subverted your expectations.
But it was one of the times where they swerved us and it made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times the swerves, I'm like, oh, great, that's a swerve for the sake of a swerve because we'd figured it out. You just did something else. But like that one was like, we all expected Ambrose to be the one to turn.
Was it a shock to you, like a shocking heel turn?
When it was Rollins and not Rambo or Ambrose, or that one of them turned?
When Rollins turned.
I was shocked, yeah.
Yeah. Like it was a good
in a
way.
good way. In a good way, yeah.
It was they were all... What I always found a bit disconcerting is like they all... Him and Evolution, they all went to battle.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all... And we've after having that fucking really long authority angle, and it was really annoying.
It was very annoying.
It sucked. And then, you know, oh, you're a B+ player or whatever to Daniel Bryan. And then they've Evolution against the Shield, and they're battering each other. And then I was like, why would Rollins like go through all that and then just be like, I'm going to turn?
There's a few reasons though. One is... just get the backing of the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then...
Screw these guys. I'm going with the boss. Like, that's going to just lead me to whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, always in storyline, you can battle against the boss for a while or whatever. But if you do then decide to go with them, it's like, is it really outside the realms of possibility that someday you could just say, fuck it. Like,
yeah, I'm going to turn.
Yeah, I can get put on the marquee here by being the one to turn, and just in case one of the other two get there first.
What are you trying to say? If a big podcast comes along with an offer, you're ditching the wrestling fan wrestling show?
Well, like, my worry would be that if they came along with an offer to me, right, and they told me, don't tell anyone about this offer.
Yeah.
I'd be like, right, I won't tell anyone. And then I'd be thinking, I'm not going to take it, I want to stay with the boys. Then I start thinking, have they gone to Shane as well?
Yeah, what? No, I'm hitting you in the back of it. I'm headshotting you with the chair.
I'm Rollins here and you're Ambrose. I'm like, what if he takes it before I do? And then
Who's Dunphy?
He's not Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Marto is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, obviously.
What's Dunphy?
Dunphy's Hornswoggle.
Hi, Hornswoggle.
The Blue Meanie or so. Hey, he blanked me today on High Street.
The Blue Meanie?
He was on High Street. Dunphy blanked me on High Street.
That's son of a gun.
I got my hair done.
Was it Dunphy or E-Estate?
It was, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They look alike. I seen him across the road. He was passing Supermax. I was coming up out of the...
Maybe he didn't notice it.
No, he did.
Yeah?
Oh, he did. Because he said, I'm on the phone.
Oh, he didn't do that.
Yeah, he did that. I'm on the phone.
You son of a...
Yeah, and I just said, fine.
Unless he was buying a wrestling ring.
He wasn't buying a wrestling ring. He wasn't. His wallet wasn't big enough. I could see the wallet sticking out of his arse pocket. There wasn't wrestling ring cash in that wallet.
Anyway, right. So Rollins...
Son of a bitch stuff.
Rollins turns.
Yeah, fantastic turn.
Great turn. Joins the Authority. Gets the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and he looked great at this stage as well, didn't he? His look was great.
Gets J&J security behind him.
They were awesome.
I
don't care what anyone says.
Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury.
Like, they were...
I was just stoked to see Jamie Noble.
Jamie Noble. It's always great to see Jamie Noble. Even now, do you know, when he comes out in like a someone gets injured angle and Jamie,
there's a Hurricane. Oh, there's Daivari. Oh, there's Kenny fucking Dykstra from the Spirit Squad.
That's always a weird one.
There's Jason Jordan, who is a tag team champion with Seth Rollins.
But sure, like, Jason Jordan realistically should still be going. Like,
he was going to be a big thing until, you know, he got injured. But
bad neck.
He wins the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Goes to SummerSlam, doesn't it? And oh no, I'm jumping ahead of ourselves.
We're not getting into kind of like, because WWE starts to blend in, so we're going to follow like the career trajectory over the next while. But you have that run with J&J Security. He's kind of Randy Orton's underling.
Yeah,
you know, Orton and Cena had that match. I think it's a ladder match or whatever.
Yeah.
But then you get we end up at the Royal Rumble, where everyone is still on the Daniel Bryan train.
Yes,
like tremendously so. Like this, he gives up the world title, doesn't he?
No, he lost the world title, isn't it? The Intercontinental title he gives up.
Oh, that's the after this WrestleMania.
After this WrestleMania, yeah.
So you get
or did he give up the world title? Can't remember. Doesn't matter.
So you get Roman Reigns. He's in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And it is so...
This is one of the funniest Royal Rumbles of all time.
Clear.
This is Philadelphia as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so clear that it wanted to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
That Vince McMahon wanted Roman Reigns.
The machine was behind him heavily at this stage.
And we were not.
No, we weren't on board.
And it sucked. And I don't think Roman came across... This is what I want to know. Did Vince McMahon know that this is what Roman Reigns could have been all along?
No.
You sure about that?
Yeah, 100%.
Because the bloodline starts with Vince's...
I agree, but also, right, you have to look at how long Vince persevered with the old Roman Reigns. Vince...
Suffering succotash.
Yeah. Vince persevered with that for the better part of a fucking decade before he switched to Tribal Chief bloodline.
Until Roman and the cancer.
Yeah.
You know?
What is that, like 7 years Vince was trying to push this same version of Roman?
What I think is mad is like how long Roman was...
He was trying to force him to be Cena.
But like...
Not on top.
But like
on top, but
what Austin's reign was. Austin, 96 he turns, and by 01 he's fucking...
Yeah, well, like really Austin's reign is 98 to 01. His top run.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 years.
Mental.
WrestleMania 14, 15 and 17. He was injured for 16.
Mental.
Like you look at Roman's reign. And this is what makes it really hard for me to like come to a clear, solid judgment on Roman's legacy, because there's like a 6-year part of it that's like horrible, like really bad. But
like, right. So that Royal Rumble moment with The Rock, and The Rock is like, what the fuck? You know?
Getting booed out of fucking Philadelphia.
Like, that sucked.
Yeah.
Right? It sucked.
And poor Rey Mysterio.
However, getting booed at number 30, like the biggest babyface of all time.
The return of Rey Mysterio at 30 gets booed.
But we don't get that immaculate cash-in at WrestleMania 31
without
that happening.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So...
The heist of the century.
And, like, you know, Rollins has that great match with Randy. Well, I say a great match. All I remember is that cool RKO.
Yeah, the RKO was cool. The match was pretty boring.
But it's
Randy Orton. He's the king of boring matches.
So WrestleMania 31, you have that amazing moment, right?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 30.
Like that cash-in is fucking deadly.
WrestleMania 30, you have that amazing moment with Daniel Bryan, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, no, that's not what they wanted to happen. But is it?
No.
Like, Daniel Bryan gets screwed over for the world title at the SummerSlam before WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, and
then he ultimately wins the big one at WrestleMania 30, right?
After a tremendous amount of fan backlash. Of having not won the Royal Rumble, and, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't... It wasn't...
Was that the plan all along?
No, it fucking wasn't the plan all along. Vince McMahon.
But was it?
No.
The plan all along?
It wasn't the plan. Everyone knows it wasn't the plan.
But was it?
You're going to say the plan all along again?
The plan all along?
It wasn't the plan all
It could have been.
It wasn't.
It could have been.
It wasn't.
Since Vince McMahon was the little baby boy doing up WrestleMania 1, his plan
for WrestleMania
all along,
30 and 31.
In 30 years' time, he's going to go, I'm going to have a vegan baby face.
Yeah.
I'm going to show these people how creatively adept I am at creativity.
Yeah.
And boom, Daniel Bryan. It was his plan all along. And then the heist of the century. He got Roman Reigns booed to get Rollins over.
Do you think when Roman was winning the Rumble that year, and, you know, it was obvious they were going to do Roman and Brock, was the heist of the century planned pre-Royal Rumble, or was it a response?
How were they going to do it, though? Like, you know, because Brock was the champion, so was he going to cash in on Brock? Rollins has an interview with Chris Van Vliet anyway, but about it.
Yeah,
but
a lot of them things I take with a grain of salt. Like, this is Rollins talking about something like his Chris Van Vliet interviews. So like 18 months ago.
No, he did one recently.
He did another one because he had one with him before, didn't he?
Yeah, and you're like, is it kayfabe or is it?
Also, there's the kayfabe thing, but also he's remembering things from 10 years ago. Like, I can remember jack shit from 10 years ago.
I can't even remember like WrestleMania 10 years ago.
Yeah, of course. And like,
was that the plan?
So like, there'll obviously be little differences in his memory.
Yeah,
and also like, what element of kayfabe is he kayfabing us with? Like, yeah, that's why wrestler shoot interviews, and also every shoot interview you've ever seen is them putting themselves over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I just don't see any value in wrestler interviews as like a source of like
entertainment.
Entertainment, yes. Truth, no.
Maybe
because there's probably some truths in there, of course, But like, it's such a minefield of bullshit. The industry as such.
Iron Sheik shoots are amazing.
As entertainment. Fuck you, Hogan.
Yeah, he says
jabroni son bitch.
Yeah, he says some slander, but still he'll humble you. We're probably going too much in chronological order.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's like the ascent and the differences in Roman, Rollins, and Ambrose.
Yeah.
And Rollins, when he turns on the Shield, he becomes the first champion out of them all.
Yeah.
Now, over the next few months,
they all hold it. Within the same year.
Within the
and
same
some of them
night.
on the same night.
Yeah. And I remember I was the least interested maybe in all of them.
In who?
In all of them. All three of them.
You kind of lost interest in them.
Yeah. Ambrose is on SmackDown. I go to a SmackDown show over in Manchester. It's AJ Styles and SmackDown. And I know it's 2016. They get
James Ellsworth.
SmackDown is a big kind of... Yeah, but just Rollins... Ambrose just didn't interest me.
Yeah.
And I thought... I was like...
In the Shield, he was the most interesting. After the Shield, he wasn't very interesting. But also...
He didn't look like a wrestler to me.
They all kind of... I don't know, like
what the fuck is a lunatic fringe?
It's a nice play on words, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like...
Roman just looked like an idiot suffering succotage.
Yeah.
Whatever year that was, he just never came across as someone interesting. He had good matches with AJ.
Yeah, they all had good matches with AJ.
Not all of them, not the ones that you would expect would have a good match. Like Nakamura didn't have great matches with AJ. Kevin Owens.
I'd seen them have one of the best matches I've ever seen until they did it in WWE, and it was a complete piece of shit.
But like AJ and John Cena, great.
They
AJ
were
and Roman,
sensational.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember just not being interested in really any of them.
It wasn't just them though; it was the product as well. Like the product was bad. Like
hot-shotting like titles.
We're going in we're not a million miles removed here from Jinder Mahal's 7-month reign as world champion. You know what I mean? Like that's the year after what we're talking about.
I think Kevin Owens was what was keeping me watching.
Yeah, Kevin Owens had some great stuff. Like that was around the time with the stuff with Jericho and the Festival of Friendship and his feud with the babyface Roman Reigns, the Shark Cage match.
When Kevin Owens comes on the scene, it's just...
He's just brilliant though.
Yeah.
Like I've said it recently, Kevin Owens is at a period now in his career where
he's the man to end John Cena.
He is probably week to week the best working professional wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
I don't mean in ring or anything. I
mean
in ring
as well.
No, but what I'm trying to say is it's everything.
I know we're going off topic, but my perfect John Cena retirement plan is he fails at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Right?
Please God, he has to fail at the Rumble.
Doesn't get a big WrestleMania moment. He fails at Elimination Chamber. Doesn't get the big WrestleMania moment.
Money in the Bank.
Fails at Money in the Bank.
King of the Ring.
He has no chance of getting a world title shot. And who shows up on his last day is the then world champion Kevin Owens.
And they repeat the...
They're just on the opposite side. Kevin Owens, his first opponent on the WWE main roster was John Cena.
What's the call out?
Who's going to be the last opponent for John Cena? Has to be Kevin Owens.
I like that.
For the world title.
They'll probably do Randy Orton, but I prefer...
No one wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see it.
I want to see Kevin Owens. I want to see John Cena fail. Do you hear that, Cena fans? I want to see him fail. It is a better story if he never wins the world title. Because then he could always have a bit of a comeback.
You never know.
The retirement tour. Sure, Terry Funk retired 478 times.
And if he was alive, he'd retire once more.
I still don't. I still believe he's going to have a comeback.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I want to see Terry Funk.
You never know that beautiful man, Terry Funk.
Oh, one of the greatest of all time.
One of the Funker.
There's the Funker.
And Onita.
There's the Funker.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I just remember Dean Ambrose not being very exciting. No. They has Miracle on 34th Street fight with Bray Wyatt.
Crap.
I was expecting this big psychological warfare match.
His lunatic asylum match with Jericho.
His match with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was a disappointment.
Terry Funk actually came out, didn't he? Him and Mick Foley were chatting to Ambrose and were like, you need to get in a different
match. Remember his
Stone Cold podcast.
Oh wow. That was grim, wasn't it? That was so hard to watch.
Like we're going a bit all over the place. But
No, but
this
yeah,
is when
let's
the Shield is less memorable.
Yeah, but like we don't want to be doing this chronological. It's not a recap.
I always thought
judgment of their legacy.
Up until recent, they were always better together, in my opinion.
Up until recently,
yeah. And like, of course, you have they inevitably get back together, which I thought was a bit underwhelming when they got back together.
Totally underwhelming.
And then, of course, you know what happened with Roman.
Kurt Angle comes in.
Kurt Angle comes in, right? Kurt Angle comes in. And that in the Shield gear, and I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it.
Look, I was all on board for that. It was Kurt Angle. He looked so happy.
He did. He looked great.
And in the Shield gear, he looked fantastic. So, if we want to rank members of the Shield, Kurt Angle's number one.
Number one. Kurt Angle, number one in the Shield. But like, Ambrose turns on
Rollins, the very night
of the cancer announcement.
Yeah,
and
the very night. And then goes into the worst run anyone has ever had.
So bad.
With the gas masks and all that kind of stuff.
And that's when I'm like, all right, poor Ambrose, like he's getting proper held back here. The machine is behind Roman. They're giving him stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Roman went into a Super Cena phase. I couldn't give a
The Romans, we have WrestleMania after WrestleMania after WrestleMania of Roman Reigns versus Triple H versus Brock Lesnar versus Brock Lesnar versus Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. And I probably underdid the amount of matches there. It was that many.
Yeah.
And it was all crap. Yeah. Remember the Undertaker match? That was so crap. And in fairness to Roman, I think he saved Undertaker's life at one stage. Whatever. But and the Brock matches, some of them were good matches, but nobody cared because nobody wanted to sit there for an 8-hour WrestleMania only for Roman Reigns to win at the end.
Yeah.
And then Vince kept changing his mind and saying, "Oh fuck it, just have Brock win again." And you had,
I love that.
I did really enjoy that.
I really, because I was like, Roman's going to win, and then Brock wins. You're like, yes.
Do you remember that time when they caught on camera as well? Was it
Brock throwing the title out?
Different time. Roman's out there after the match. It was caught on camera, and was it his dad or someone is there ringside and said, when is he going to lie down for you? Or when is he going to put you over? It was
about Brock,
about Brock. It was caught on camera, and it was this thing of just Jesus Christ, Vince, just do it already and put me out of my misery. I was starting to feel bad for Roman.
I never felt bad for Roman.
That night,
I really that's a lie. When they obviously with the cancer.
I felt bad.
The actual character of Roman Reigns, I was like, yeah.
And then that thing of the thing was, he just wasn't good enough in that character to connect, but he was being pushed as the top guy, and there was so many guys underneath that who were connecting and weren't getting pushed. Even Finn Balor. Even Rollins and Ambrose and AJ Styles and imagine what AJ Styles could have done with that push because AJ Styles had a couple of years there, obviously he's older now, but he had a couple of years at the start of his WWE run where he was definitely
Samoa
Joe. He should have at Great Balls of Fire
beaten Brock Lesnar. But
that was such a great build.
Ambrose leaves. He loses to EC3, right?
Yeah.
Ambrose
on Raw, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ambrose loses to EC3. Another person I think they fumbled.
No, I don't think there's any fumble. There was nothing in there.
I liked EC3 in NXT.
Yeah, but there's just nothing to him. Bar a couple of muscles, Anyone can take steroids and get checked.
Ultimate Warrior got over.
Yeah.
But, Ambrose leaves and he goes, and I was excited for him leaving.
Yeah.
I thought this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to get a new lease of life.
Yeah.
And he does. He leaves in 2019 at the start of it.
Hit the gym.
Looked fucking amazing.
Cut his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Changed his gear.
Changed his name. Released cool promos and shows up in this new upstart hot promotion and fucking double arm DDTs Kenny Omega.
It was that the year, I think that was the year he also went and did the G1 run.
Yeah, so
that was awesome.
He's in his shorts. He's doing blood sport.
Yeah.
He's doing all these mad stuff that you're all right,
this
cool.
guy is changing the game here.
Yeah.
He's he feels like a pioneer now.
He feels like a pioneer of independent wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he's
shown up at GCW.
Yeah.
Wrestling Nick Cage.
It's amazing.
Not Nicolas Cage.
Nick Gage.
Gage. Not Cage.
It's
Gage.
amazing. And you're kind of like, okay, there is life outside of... Like, he wouldn't have been able to do it. Maybe, I actually think he would have been able to do it without AEW.
Well, he could have just gone in Indies and done New Japan, and he would have been Brody.
Yeah, it was the first time I found him interesting since the initial Shield.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah, and you know what? When he left, and obviously we all were at that stage like waiting on what's AEW going to be like when it, who are they going to get and blah blah blah. And I knew like obviously Ambrose is on the market, and I was like, oh God, I don't know. Like,
well, he even thought that fans wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, but like. The second he showed up, you were like, "Yeah, that ain't Dean Ambrose. I'm on." But you know what I mean?
That's perfect. Yeah,
yeah. And then like he got an injury that summer and they had to postpone one of his matches and all this. And then, but he shows up then on the first night of AEW Dynamite, double arm DDTs Kenny Omega through a glass table, and it was off to the fucking races because we'll get to his later stuff. But his like initial 2 years with AEW. Were just like top tier. Like
I went off him a bit earlier, but like I remember the excitement. But it's the same like with.
What do you think of his like first world title run? The
pandemic era.
Yeah, the pandemic.
I'll get into that in a sec, right? So like at the same time, Roman Reigns takes time off.
Yeah,
because we're getting into the pandemic. Like he's after doing that Baron Corbin thing.
Yeah, he came back after the cancer, and then the pandemic hit.
I'm in remission, y'all, and you're like fair fucking Jews,
unbelievable. Bro. And then obviously the type of cancer he has
never fully goes away.
So there's a fucking global pandemic. He needs to go home and take care of himself. You know what I mean? So he disappears for a good chunk of the pandemic.
Rollins is doing whatever Rollins is doing. I'm not massively paying attention to him at this time. He doesn't feel like a main event player.
No, but you remember WWE like during the pandemic?
So yeah, he becomes the Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah, like WWE during the pandemic was so shit.
And like takes out Rey Mysterio's eye.
Oh my God.
There's a video of that on the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show.
That was so shit.
He's with Buddy Murphy and Austin Theory.
Yeah.
As his disciples.
Whatever they were.
You're like, what? He goes up against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 36, which is a pretty good match.
Okay, sure.
Kevin Owens was going to dive off the pirate ship. Didn't dive off it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Dove off a massive height anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't really... Rollins is just doing Rollins stuff, Monday Night Messiah. Didn't really pay much attention to it. No. Didn't really care.
Pandemic era WWE is the most
non-canon fucking shit that you can watch. It's the most
sterilized version of pro wrestling you could possibly imagine.
It felt dirty.
It did. Like, AEW just had so much better ideas for...
Yeah, like an exploding barbed wire death match.
That was so heartbreaking.
Oh, so well, didn't it?
No, I'm talking about like the crowd and creating an atmosphere.
Yeah.
The match was great until there was no explosion.
So I want to get into this, right? I think... Is Moxley's first defense against Eddie Kingston?
No. Didn't he do Brody before that?
Right. So he goes up against Eddie Kingston at one stage.
Yeah, that's later into it.
And this is when I'm like, he's starting to not connect with for me now.
Okay.
This I don't know what. Yeah. Like all this kind of, and I know everyone has their own thing to get over, but I've said it before.
The shoulder roll is weird.
No, but like I get what he's doing, right?
I don't get what he's doing. I don't understand that.
What I think Moxley thinks is it's the same thing with Triple H. This is what was cool when I was young. So this is what's going to be cool now. Where you're kind of like, nah.
I don't even get that. I don't know what he's trying to convey with it.
No, with the like an unhinged kind of. I get what he's doing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like he does a promo with Eddie Kingston at one stage, and I just found this, and I think sometimes Eddie Kingston's promos can be contrived. That's just my opinion, but he speaks from his heart, so I don't know like the way he's grown up and stuff. You know, so. But like, just from like an acting point of view, it seems like.
He's overacting.
Yeah. But maybe that's just him. I don't know.
We're actors, though.
But, like, Eddie does a promo.
By the way, I love Eddie Kingston, and I love the 2 or 3 promos they did together.
Do you like the one? This is what I'm getting at. Do you like the one where, like, they're sitting at a table and they're drinking? And fire on the table.
Yeah, I didn't like that one.
And I'm like, lads,
no, I meant the in-ring promos.
You look like dipshits.
Yeah, this isn't cool.
Yeah. It's just like... And obviously, Mox takes time off for like drinking and stuff. So drinking isn't cool in his opinion, maybe anymore. But like that just screamed to me like going, this is what action stars kind of, this is what Steven Seagal would do, or Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know, fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme. They're like, nah, this ain't cool, man. You just look,
I didn't like
you just
that
look like you're try hard. It's like Triple H trying to be a try hard.
Yeah, and Triple H is the king of that. And it's weird because
King of Kings.
Because Eddie Kingston doesn't often.
Maybe that was the plan all along.
It wasn't. But Eddie Kingston never appears. Like, Mox could take a leaf out of Eddie Kingston's book. Because, like, Eddie Kingston, to me, never really appears like a tryhard.
When he wore the Kenta Kobashi gear against Mox, the green and white.
Yeah, awesome.
That's tryhardy.
That's not tryhardy. That's like everyone does that.
Eddie has his colours, man.
Yeah, I know, but who's his colours? They're the Kawada colours. Yeah.
So don't be going Kenta on it. Don't be going green and white. They ain't your colours.
That's Misawa's colours. I know.
Sorry, Misawa, not Kenta.
Yeah, but he normally wears the Kawada colours. So just for one night, he wanted to be Misawa. I'm all on board with that.
I don't like it.
But like, he's not like, in terms of his performance, he doesn't come like, he comes across as quite genuine. Where sometimes,
that's what I meant by Kenta Kobashi.
Yeah, the machine gun chops. Kenta Kobashi does them a lot better. Yeah. Eddie Kingston's ones aren't great. But yeah, like, Eddie Kingston is more genuine than Mox, I feel, in many ways.
Well, like, we don't know. Like, by all accounts, Mox is a bit of a weird cat, and you can understand that by reading his book. Even the way the book is formatted, you're kind of like, this is strange, jumping all over the place. Like,
he's a weird dude.
We're in, like, you know, the FCW era, and he's talking about his run with William Regal, and then now we're in AEW, and now we're going back to like why he started wrestling, and it's all jumping all over the place, right? Fair enough.
Yeah,
but I just think he was allowed kind of let loose, and he delves into the, like, maybe the Vince Russo argument that, you know, he has all these ideas, but they need to be refined.
They need filtering.
Yeah.
And but sure, here we go. We may as well just get into the up-to-date stuff now then.
Yeah, so, right.
Because, like...
Well, like, we were skipping over 4 years of the Bloodline then, right?
Yeah, but
so
no,
Roman
we'll
Reigns,
do the Bloodline separately.
Roman Reigns hits his stride, right?
Yeah.
Rollins, I think, in my opinion, since just before Cody comes in, hits his stride. And Mox, to me, now feels like he's struggling.
Mox is struggling massively at the moment. Like, and it feels like he has been for probably about 2 years.
I feel like Mr. AEW shouldn't be in AEW anymore because he feels like an afterthought. He was an afterthought in that whole CM Punk thing when he wins the title for a small bit, and then CM Punk wins, and then the title goes, and then he wins the title back.
Let's slow down there, because obviously he was an afterthought in the CM Punk title win because he wasn't supposed to be part of that. Yeah. He had to fucking... He was supposed to go on holidays. Punk gets injured. It's like, hit the fucking bat signal. Mox comes in, right, you need me for the summer, I'll steady the ship here, but I have a fucking holiday booked, like. And then he just comes in. He was an afterthought because that wasn't the storyline. Punk gets injured. But for me, like, right, so all that shit happens. And it's around there where things start to kind of... Mox just didn't seem to be that interested anymore. Like, he wasn't interested.
I don't know if he wasn't interested. I just don't think
he just did a whole 12 months of where he didn't get involved in a storyline. He did the IWGP Championship. He was in no angles, did fuck all promos. He just, like, rock up and wrestle a match every now. You know what I mean? He was, but, like, it felt like he wasn't. And, like, the Blackpool Combat Club stuff, he wasn't, like, he was never really involved heavily. Like,
he was, though. It was him and Brian, and he was in, like, fucking Blood and Guts and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah, but, like, he was never there for, like, the angles leading to this shit. Or he was never, like, cutting promos. It's like, what is he doing? So then, obviously, you know, rumors started to come around that he wasn't happy over the summer, and that he was rejecting creative and blah, blah, blah. And then he comes up with this new Blood...
Debt Riders,
Blackpool Combat Club 2.0, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They murder Danielson. And then, like, I don't know, it's like what you said about the filtering of ideas. It was like, this is shit, like.
Where do you go from that? But this is what I said at the time. Where do you go from fucking murdering someone?
I know, but that was so cool that they could have
gone.
It wasn't.
That was such a great
badly
angle. Produced.
And whatever about the production, it's like, such a great way to start a new angle and faction.
You know what's I've always thought it'd be amazing. It's when Jimmy Jacobs strung up one of the Briscoe brothers and wore a white suit underneath him and let him bleed all over him, right? Who was strung up there recently in an elite angle? Who was strung up by their legs?
Darby
Allin,
Yeah.
right? So, who is the man purported to be beating Jon Mox?
Well,
Is Darby Allin, is it?
yeah, but that's all up in the air now.
Who was up in the air? Darby Allin. Right?
And he's going to be further up in the air when he climbs Mount Everest.
Yeah, right? But if you're going to use that angle where someone's hanging, right? You don't need to pretend to murder someone. All you need to do is split them open, have Darby hanging, and that's how you bring the Death Riders.
Well, they didn't pretend to murder Mox. They just...
Murder? They put a plastic bag over his head.
Same as hanging someone. Same as lynching somebody.
It's not, you're hanging them up by their legs, and the blood is flowing down, and you have Mox, and he's in like a wife beater, and the blood. Darby Allin's blood.
That's Dean Ambrose. That's not Mox. Yeah, I'm joking.
The blood is all. He's wearing wife beaters now.
He has. Yeah.
So he has the blood all over him. There you go. Yeah. There's your visual, and there's your comeback.
But like
putting a plastic bag over someone's head,
the start of it, the murdering of Danielson, because Danielson was getting written off. Why not fucking
use
Red
it?
Wedding him?
You could use it.
But they did it well. And then what happened was
they didn't do it well.
They did do it well. But we'll get past that because we could argue that all day, right? We'll say they did it, but the issue came in when the next night they were battling all the mid-card geeks.
And this is why I said as well. You have a litany of potential world title challengers, and you're putting them up against Orange Cassidy.
I had no issue with Orange Cassidy because he is a great wrestler. But like,
your main event guys there.
I know, but Orange Cassidy could actually be a main event guy if they'd booked the fucking thing right.
Like,
he never felt like a threat to Mox.
Right. So he takes
and
out...
he has history with Mox.
He takes out Danielson.
Yeah.
I know this guy goes up against Hangman or whatever, but you lost to Danielson. Swerve.
Yeah.
I'm going after you now. I'd watch Mox and Swerve.
Jesus Christ, of course.
That would have been a million times better.
Of course.
Than Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley.
Mox and Will Ospreay. Like, you have fucking Ospreay and Swerve there.
It felt like they came in with an idea of Mox going, I want this guy, and this is the idea. And they didn't map it out. And now they're like, oh, fuck, what are we going to do now? And no one has any interest in it.
No, and they need to kill it.
Yeah.
Quick.
Whereas, it seems...
They need to kill it quick.
You look at the bloodline angle over 4 years, and
are you going to try and tell me that was mapped out?
No. But the stories, because it was told well, the stories that are still emanating from it. You had Rollins and Sammy on the latest Raw going, you went back to Roman after doing this. What are you going to do? You're going to help him beat Cody again at WrestleMania? Now, when are you going to do stuff?
That's their second time to run that exact same.
But when are you going to do it for Sammy? Kevin Owens is him and Cody directly linked. SmackDown. Oh man, this is SmackDown's first promo. Is it Paul Heyman comes out? I don't know. Paul Heyman comes out and he invites Cody out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when was this? This is the opening of SmackDown.
This week?
Yeah.
Last week?
Yeah. The first one on Netflix. Paul Heyman comes out, right?
SmackDown isn't on Netflix.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's on USA.
In Ireland, it's on Netflix.
Is it?
SmackDown, Raw, and NXT is all on Netflix.
What?
You heard it here first, sir. And that was the plan all along.
All along.
But Paul Heyman comes out, calls out Cody, right?
Right.
Talks to Cody saying Roman Reigns wants his title, whatever. Mm-hmm. Kevin Owens comes from the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens is like, what, Cody, you're just going to be all chummy now with Paul Heyman? Like
after everything.
Like you were chummy with The Rock the other night. Like, what's the story with all that? Cody doesn't say anything, runs up after him into the stands. Then you have Jacob and Tama Tonga come out to Paul Heyman. And so they come out and they're going to attack Paul Heyman. And then Jimmy and like Cody comes back then after dealing with Kevin Owens. And then they're fighting Jacob and because he's going to
schmoz.
He's going to crush Jimmy. Or he's going to crush... Jacob was going to crush Jimmy with the, that ass to the chair thing.
Yeah.
We're like, it's going to happen. And
the thing that they broke people's necks with.
Yeah, and Cody comes running down. This is after beating up Kenny Dykstra, poor little Kenny.
Yeah,
Kenny.
had to be done.
And then we have a tag team match. Nick Aldis is coming out. They're trying to get him out of the building, all this.
And who won the tag team match?
I can't remember. Well, that's what, that. Yeah. That was they involved loads of people there.
Interconnected.
Nick Aldis came out and everything.
Interconnected.
It was cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I just didn't know I could watch it on Irish.
I don't know if that was the opening, but that was it.
It was on the show.
It was a cool angle.
But let's get into the bloodline now, because we've kind of spoke about Mox, and for me, Mox his legacy was essential to the early success of AEW, and he's been an A+ player for them, despite the fact that recently it's been dog shit, and him in particular. And to go back to what you said, and look, this is we speak about Stone Cold's his run on top being so memorable, and he never got the chance to get stale, really. You know what I mean?
I think Mox, if your dimensions say Stone Cold's run, Stone Cold was very particular about who he worked with.
Yeah.
Stone Cold wasn't working with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Stone Cold didn't even want to work with Brock Lesnar and give it away for free.
Yeah, he was right.
Mox should have been more particular.
Possibly,
how he was used and who he was working with.
Yeah, but look, also, he's not...
Mox and... I love Phoenix, but Mox and Phoenix... that doesn't seem like it should be happening. Mox and Orange Cassidy does not seem like it should be happening.
What's that?
Ray Phoenix. He goes up against Ray Phoenix, doesn't he?
That was ages ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, when he got injured, he got a concussion.
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening.
You don't think Mox should be on free TV, basically?
Not
sparingly.
Yes, used very sparingly.
Okay, yeah.
And
I could definitely see that after his initial run.
You don't see Roman Reigns and Chad Gable. Maybe you do. Maybe you did or whatever, but that's not something that's...
But, I think... For AEW's initial couple of years, very important to have Mox on TV regularly, both wrestling and promo and angles.
Remember...
But now, you could use them more sparingly.
Remember how special it was when, Shelton Benjamin went up against Triple H, and then went up against Shawn Michaels, and he got that cool little push, and it seems like they're going to do something with him, and then they just dropped off. And then you don't see Shelton Benjamin with Triple H and Shawn Michaels anymore, because he's not getting the push.
Yeah.
Orange goes up, he gets close, and he just drops off.
Yeah.
And it's never sustained. But he's still...
But that is kind of what happened with Orange.
But he's still it's like Tony views him in that caliber, and he's not.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have that little extra gear.
Yeah, there's the thing of Orange Cassidy, in my mind, is an excellent upper mid-carder.
I think he's upper mid-carder.
I think I think he's an excellent upper mid-carder. But he's not he's way better than Jesus Christ. That's just disrespectful.
Al Snow.
That's disrespectful.
When he was in his Power Ranger.
Oh yeah. He did a fake Hayabusa gimmick at one stage.
That's what it was.
Yeah, was that the Power Ranger
Avatar
thing? Yeah, that was weird. I think Orange Cassidy's great upper mid-carder. I don't think he's a main eventer, but few people are. And I just think Mox, I don't know, he shouldn't have signed a new contract. He should have just gone on the indies and done some part-time stuff at AEW.
I think going back to WWE is his best bet.
Not for him, I don't think.
He has a WrestleMania match with Triple H, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to think, does he get on with Triple H?
I'm sure, I don't know. I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
I think that's going to be... It has to be the next big thing for him.
Yeah, but I don't...
what else is he going to accomplish in AEW?
I know, but I don't think... See, we talked about him being a weird guy. I don't think he thinks like that. But I do think...
But, if he didn't like the travel and all that.
Yeah.
He sees the way Rollins has been treated. He sees the way Roman has been treated.
Rollins is on TV every fucking week, wrestling loads of matches.
Yeah, but
Rollins and Romans are booked very differently.
The live event schedule isn't as bad.
Not as bad as what it was when he was there.
Especially for Roman. And if you're trying to bring in Dean Ambrose, Dean Ambrose can pretty much...
I'm sure if he was offered a WWE contract, he could say, yeah, cool, 10 dates a year and still get paid a shitload of cash.
Yeah.
But I just don't think... we said, he's a weird guy.
I think his legacy will be defined by... if he chooses to stay with AEW, or if he goes back to WWE.
I think his legacy is pretty safe.
If you look at the guys that have left AEW for WWE, You have Cody, of course. You have CM Punk. To a degree.
Kind of, yeah.
The judgment is still out on Penta.
Yeah, who knows?
Obviously.
Yeah, a great start, but who knows?
If you look at the lower kind of echelon guys, you have Alexis King.
He's not going to do anything anywhere.
Yeah, Ethan Page won the NXT title.
Yeah, but like, let's be very clear. Winning the NXT title now is not the same as winning it 10 years ago.
But Sean Spears as well. You know, they've been used.
But Sean Spears was used very well for a long time. He was
too well in AEW.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
But what I'm saying is, like, if he's and Malachi Black or Alistair Black, you know,
I would expect him to go back. Well, and that's a better fit for him, I think. But also, when he's going back, he's not going back to the same place he left.
Yeah, that's
like he's going to have to go back and work fucking way harder than he did both before and what he did in AEW.
I think if Jon Moxley, I think going back to WWE as Jon Moxley and not as Dean Ambrose,
he can't go back as Dean Ambrose.
But what I'm saying is that's legacy defining stuff. I think.
Yeah, it'd be huge.
I think a bit of production on it and all that kind of stuff. I think, but maybe he might want to do that.
See, that's what I think. I don't think that like really,
like we still need that Shield
triple threat. It'd be awesome.
At WrestleMania.
If Moxley's going to do it, if he ever does go back, I could see him doing it on a very limited deal.
But I don't
think he's going to tie himself down to the corporate machine.
I can see it being done
it's not going to be 3 or 5 year deal, like,
in the sense that you can now see like he gets mentioned every now and again on WWE.
Yeah.
Well, Dean Ambrose
does, yeah.
But like
in that
WrestleMania 40 main event, the massive crux of that Cody and Roman Reigns match.
People thought he was going to show up. Like.
No, but was the chair shot that Roman gave Seth.
Yeah.
Because 10 years earlier or whatever.
It was the other way around.
Yeah. So, and like, now WWE are rewarding you for paying attention. You know, I think Mox might like that kind of type of storytelling.
Yeah, but I just, like, we sat here last week and spoke about capitalism unfurled taking place on our screen.
Bastards.
And I just don't think that is a Mox thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's why, like, yes, in terms of the booking and the storytelling, it's in a much better place than it ever was during Mox time there. But also, there's Saudi Arabia, there's all this other shit, and that's why I just don't see Mox, unless he does a super limited deal. He's not going to get tied down to a 3 or 5 year contract. And I would suspect he probably regrets re-upping his deal with AEW.
Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he just likes the freedom to be able to kind of go, right, I'm going to be here this time. I'm going to get to create my own merchandise. And
here, Tony, I'm taking 5 or 6 months off. I might just fuck off and do a bit of AEW or New Japan. I'll do GCW from time to time. I'll just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about...
I can't see him ever leaving that life behind.
We probably spent too much time on Ambrose. Or on Mox.
Because, like, let's talk about, like...
that's the most interesting path. Because it's the
most different.
Yeah, but it's the one he took a chance on himself. And you know...
It's the riskiest path,
going
certainly.
to AEW, that's a big... At the time...
Particularly when he did, like...
At the time...
There hadn't even been an episode of television yet.
Yeah, like, at the time, that was a big decision to walk away from all that money. And, you know, it takes a lot of balls to do that.
But he is the most unique character of the three of them.
Yeah. And Seth...
Like I said, I just find Seth to be a bit of a dullard.
I just think since WrestleMania 38 with Cody, I think he's just been on...
I just hate his character.
An amazing... Yeah, but like I kind of like the visionary. I like it.
Yeah, but it doesn't need
it
all
seems
the
the most
bells and whistles around it.
Yeah,
though.
but like that's what seems the most like 80s wrestling thing to me.
Yeah, maybe. I just think it's goofy.
It's like kind of like a hybrid of Macho Man.
Yeah, but more annoying.
Yeah, but I like it.
I find it to be irritating.
I think he has more about him now than he ever did.
No, he has toned down some of it recently, which I greatly appreciate.
Do you remember him and Becky against Corbin and what was your one's name?
Who was that?
She played like 1950s kind of
Tony Storm.
No, 1950s kind of like Dame. I don't know what her name is. She's not there anymore anyway. But like Baron Corbin was with her, and I was like, I just wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in the Kingslayer. He the main event against Triple H anyway, or WrestleMania match against Triple H, and you're just like, I don't really care.
No, a lot of his stuff was just like that. Like, I do agree. Like,
but now he's coming out Hell in a Cell, and he's dressed in like Dusty.
Yeah,
he is the polka dot.
War Games. No, Hell in a Cell. But like the thing with Rollins is like, he's been used way better, I think, like in terms of his mic time and what he's conveying on the mic, and he's getting the chance to like tell it as it is a lot, you know what I mean? He's been used in that role of like, I'm just telling you the truth, Sammy, or whoever he's interacting with. He's having a Punk stuff, you know, he's been put in really good spots, but
he deserves them. He puts on great matches.
He's kind of, I don't think he does though. Like the Punk match wasn't great. Like, it was okay. Like,
I really enjoyed it. You had a good match with Drew at WrestleMania.
They're on Raw next week, I believe.
What?
Drew versus Rollins.
Cool. I'll watch that.
Weird, but like, yeah, no problem.
Roman, I think, you know, his matches mightn't be like they're very melodramatic, telling stories. He does a lot of talking,
cinema.
But like, he's the most interesting character because of the way they've written him, that everything reverberates off him. Yeah,
but also, do you know what the thing about him is like
all the ripples in the stories are coming from him.
I know, but how much, like, here's the thing, right? They're coming from his character, but I don't see that in his performance. Like, to me, it really...
he's very stoic.
Yeah, he's too stoic. He never, like... Do a bit of acting there, pal. And not like smouldering at the camera isn't acting.
That is acting. He's a strong silent type, and that was the plan all along.
Like fucking Tony Soprano was a strong silent type. He fucking acted the shit out of that.
He wasn't a strong silent type.
Yeah, he went to a therapist, and that's when he spoke.
Maybe Roman's going to therapy.
He should. And we should see it.
No, we sheyshouldn't see it.
Remember them old anger management classes and stuff, yeah.
I burnt like, my parents.
Like, to me, it's like Heyman is kind of the most interesting character in all of the Bloodline verse.
If he turns, man.
Yeah, like to me, Heyman is like, you know, he's like not the puppet master, but like he's the fixer.
Yeah.
You know, he's the negotiator, he's the diplomat.
That's always been him.
Yeah, I fucking love it. Like, yeah. Like he's my favourite part of the Bloodline.
And intricately linked with
everyone.
With the Shield.
Everyone.
Yeah. His history with everyone, yeah.
But like Roman to me is the most interesting legacy to kind of debate or define, because it has two completely opposing sections of his career.
Yeah, but it's like even Moxley's AEW career. Like, there's two complete, even...
Yeah, to a different extent. Because Roman's went from, like, utter and complete rejection to the most critically acclaimed fucking thing in years.
John Cena called him the GOAT.
Yeah, like, that's crazy talk. Fucking crazy talk. But anyway, whereas Moxley's went from, like, ace of the promotion, super well loved, to, like... Fuck's sake, Mox, what the fuck you doing now? It wasn't the same, like, extremes as Roman's two parts of his career. Whereas Rollins probably has been the most consistent of either of them throughout time. Whether I sit here and say I find him to be a dullard or not, like, there's no doubt that he's, like, been an integral part of the top promotion in wrestling for over a decade. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his legacy is very, very strong as well. Yeah. And, you know, there's at certain times where I hate the fact that they say, after CM Punk left, Seth Rollins carried this promotion on his back for 10 years. No, he didn't.
Cody carried the promotion on his back for a year, last year. Took the ball and ran with it.
Like, you know, Seth did some really good stuff over those 10 years.
But like, Seth always been like, I love WWE, I love being here, this is what I've always wanted to do. And I admire that about him.
Yeah, fair play. If that's what you love, fine. Be less of a caricature at times, though.
No. I love it. I love that.
Are we ranking them?
I don't think we should we?
We're not going to agree, anyway.
No, because but you made that interesting point with Seth's been the most consistent. Roman was utterly rejected, but now he's like, his bloodline run is, you know,
highly regarded.
Yeah,
like
and
super highly regarded.
Moxley
and
has,
also
Moxley's AEW. You can't really rank them.
It's very hard because they've all had different strengths and weaknesses.
I think we can all agree, like, as the greatest member of the Shield, it has to be
Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do-do.
It's true.
Do-do.
It's true. I do want to ask you two things.
Yeah, is this what you were talking about at the start?
Kinda.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to remind you about that.
One of them was, is this Roman Reigns what Vince seen all along?
No. He
obviously seen something in him.
Something. But he wanted Cena. He wanted Cena.
Vince wanted to create his final star.
Cena.
But he did it in Roman.
No, but he wanted Roman to be a Cena-esque star, not the star he became.
The heel turn,
should have happened 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 years earlier.
No.
Should have happened way earlier.
Like, he went on that generational run, and it started under the stewardship of one Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yes.
He comes back, beats the Shield or whatever, fucks over the Shield or Braun Strowman or what. He spears one of them during the pandemic era. Has WrestleMania 37. He goes up against Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
I think there's another Lesnar match in there. There's Cody, and then
there's
there's
one in Saudi, I think, or something.
There's Cody too. Like, there's just, he's had some.
Oh, look,
under like Cody came in under Vince as well.
Low key, as the kids say.
What about Caval?
Roman's greatest dance partner is Cody. They have the best chemistry out of anyone Roman Reigns wrestled.
I like Kevin Owens too.
Yeah, I like Kevin Owens too.
They had that Royal Rumble match where he got drove over in a dune buggy.
Yeah, was that the Last Man Standing one? Yeah.
Where I hate the finish to that.
They tied him up in the thingy. Yeah, I didn't like that either.
But I is this what Vince seen a star in Roman all along?
Yeah,
whether
he wanted a Cena-esque star
or Hulk Hogan, always the good guy kind of thing.
That's exactly what I think Vince saw. And
I don't know.
For years, everyone was saying, just fucking turn him heel and he'll get over and he can turn him back face. People have been saying that for 5 years.
People will naturally turn him face.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament in the day and age where everyone hates or loves a cool heel. Like, Roman still managed to be a
proper heel.
A proper heel, yeah.
Now, let's, even within the Bloodline saga, is current Roman as a babyface more interesting than the heel Roman from a year or two ago?
Yeah, because you said it about Swerve. He hasn't changed.
No,
he's out for himself. Like,
yeah, that's still abundantly clear. I think it's abundantly clear.
Yeah.
He's been slightly nicer to people.
Well, he doesn't have the backup that he used to have. Like, he won a lot of matches with the backup of the Bloodline.
Yeah, and that's he's not
going to have those people there as much.
Like, obviously, in my opinion, Roman is the weakest in ring of the three. I
don't know.
But, like, he's going to be the one probably in 10, 15 years' time.
Whose matches do you remember more?
I don't... Here's the thing, like, Rollins is probably technically the most talented of the three, but I remember his matches the least.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter who's the best in the ring.
He's a dullard.
It's not a dullard. I like Seth. Sorry, Seth, stand accounts.
Yeah, no. Fuck you.
But just maybe Vince didn't back the wrong horse, as we all thought.
Well, maybe he didn't. Yeah, maybe he didn't.
I don't want to give that cretin too much credit anyway.
Also, he got it wrong too, because look at what he could have had 3 years earlier.
And he definitely got it wrong with the final thing.
Yeah, is this your
not
next
bringing
question?
in Chris Hero instead of Roman Reigns? Cassius Ohno.
What a man.
What
was your other question? You had two.
So yeah, it was about Chris Hero. Like, imagine how different the wrestling landscape would be.
Bizarre, like.
Yeah.
Because it was Punk wanted Hero in the Roman Reigns one, wasn't it?
Because they have the history.
Yeah,
like IWA Mid-South.
IWA, they did 1 hour matches. I think they did like an hour and a half match on an IWA show in like 2005 or some shit.
And they said, no, you have to take Roman. We want him to
You can have Rollins and Ambrose, but you have to take Roman.
Because they had that indie cred.
Yeah.
But like, imagine how different the wrestling, even like, say,
I can't imagine it. Like,
even CM Punk and Jack Perry, that's broken up by Samoa Joe and
Chris Hero.
Chris Hero.
I know,
imagine that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's so crazy the ripple effects that
because what would the Shield have been like with Chris Hero? Because Chris Hero, like,
Would've
let's
been
not
badass.
forget, like, he was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, Like, yeah, we see the old kind of road agent producer version now, but that guy was
like,
fucking awesome.
You know, you could have had Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins and Chris Hero going up against Triple H, Randy Orton, and Mark Jindrak.
Yeah, the Evolution. Yeah,
because Mark Jindrak
was supposed to be Batista.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
They even fitted the suits and shit, wasn't it?
Like it's just crazy the
sliding doors or yeah.
And like if you could put like, you know, someone had said Sting as the leader of the NWO.
Yeah.
Initially, because they didn't know if Hulk was going to do it. I think a dirt sheet said it was going to be Mabel.
No, so this Mabel thing pops up every now and again.
Bischoff said on 83 weeks or something.
Yeah, no. So basically, Meltz was given a list from someone in WCW saying, these are all the names that have been floated. And like Mabel's was just one of the throwaway names on the list.
Mabel.
So he just printed the whole list, obviously.
Yeah.
And then people have been coming back saying, you said it was going to be Mabel. And he's like, you fucking idiots.
It could have been Sting, though.
He actually said it was going to... He said the week of that Hogan's the front runner.
Like, it could have been Sting.
But Sting was floated, yeah. Like, that would have been cool, though, as well.
I don't think it would have had the effect.
No, Jesus Christ. No, like, look, it had to be Hogan for it to have the effect it did.
You even look at those promos though, like it was such a different time because Hulk Hogan is like he doesn't come across as cool.
No.
At all. Like Nash and Hall come across as cool.
Yeah.
Hogan doesn't. He's like, I'll kill you, Jack. And you're like no one says Jack. Like it's like not the 50s.
Yeah, Hogan like doesn't know what he's doing as a heel. Yeah. You know, like it took him a while to warm into being a heel.
Yeah. If Daniel Bryan never gets kicked out of Nexus.
Yeah.
Initially, for choking Justin Roberts.
Yeah. Or if true. If Daniel Bryan doesn't have to retire the first time.
Yeah.
What the fuck happens there?
But the ripple effects of just putting people in different factions. That I know. I think Four Horsemen has had loads of different horsemen.
Yeah.
But there's only
the Shield. There's only been 3 plus Kurt Angle. Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see Chris Hero.
I would love to see it. It would be cool. And what would Roman have become? You know?
Yeah. If anything,
I know he would have look at him. Look at the man. Like Vince would have called him up and put him in some sort of...
Yeah, but he could have put him, he could have been No Way Jose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have been the next... there's been a, fucking Nathan Jones or Heidenreich
Ezekiel Jackson.
Yeah.
And
there was loads of lads who had great looks.
He could have been just a manager for someone initially because he wasn't ring ready. He's in the ring with 2 people that did the
heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do the heavy lifting.
And he came in and he got to learn the ropes that way too.
Yeah, and he got to do his spear and you know what I mean? He got to do his couple of big moves and...
He could have been a Lars Sullivan.
Yeah, that's actually a great comparison.
Thank you.
Well, bar the whole being...
Yeah, bar, we don't talk about.
Bar being a creep on the internet.
Yeah.
And racist and misogynist, I believe, as well.
Yeah. Anyway.
Allegedly. Shane.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Do we have to do the Shield thing? We need a third member. Oh, wait. Duffy doesn't come unless it's Insider.
Yeah, and he blanks us on the street, too.
Blanks us on the street. And then John Martin, that beautiful angel, he could be doing anything.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know, doing something really cool right now.
Hey, John, if you do happen to listen back to the podcast, just message us in on the WhatsApp when you hear this message.
Yeah. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Because
he knows when we're recording.
Does he? Oh yeah, he does. He does in the WhatsApp. Thanks very much for listening to the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. I don't know if we've done a Shield legacy, but we've talked about the Shield.
Talked about the Shield,
and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment. If you didn't, leave a comment. If you didn't like anything that we said, please leave a comment.
Argue us. And remember, last word goes to Seth Rollins is a dullard.
I'll get my laptop back, so I'm going to clip up all the times he says that. Thanks very much for listening to the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. Stay safe, stay sane.